Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. To start out, I think it makes sense for most people to buy a cheap AR and then upgrade it as you need to upgrade it, really. Your basic AR really doesn't need much. Optic light sling, that is it. That is essentially what I have here, a basic PSA rifle. You could pick these up for around $500. I built the lower myself using an Anderson parts kit, so this was a little bit under $500, but you guys know what I mean. You can order the upper complete, the lower complete, and still be on a budget. Now, I do plan to switch some stuff around. I'm going to just talk about my recent range trips with this rifle, because I had this rifle for about 4 years. I haven't put a lot of rounds through it so far. I plan to change that. Now, the last range trip, I had a different optic on this. I had this 3 to 12 Bushnell, a totally fine optic. It doesn't have illumination. There are drawbacks. It's not perfect by any means, but for, just shooting it at 100 yards, absolutely fine. I'll show you guys that range video.
So it should be fine, guys.
It'll be fine.
How did it shoot?
Okay. The trigger is mil-spec trigger, but it seems like it's a little bit smoother maybe than a regular one. But otherwise, it's like a bone stock AR with a big scope. Go.
Okay, the handguard now, warm to the touch. Ever so slightly. Ray, place your hand on the top.
It's very warm. I would even call it hot. In fact, it kind of burns.
Hence
The gloves are actually warranted, folks.
the gloves.
Can the PSA do it?
It's gonna be a little mess, but this was the PSA, the Bushnell up top. So this was 70
round groove.
Yeah, 10 rounds, 10 rounds. This was 77 OTM, and this is the 62 grain, just blasting it.
90 rounds of 62 grain.
Yeah.
It was a windy, suboptimal day, and it was shooting like 4.5-inch groups at best, so it really wasn't that great. So I didn't think it required a 12 power scope to do that, so I took that off, and I went back out to the range to zero it at 37 yards with that Bushnell red dot up top, and I'll show you guys that range video. I had a cheap no-name riser, and the iron sights didn't co-witness at all, so I ended up taking that off, but still ended up shooting there at the range. I plan to throw on this UTG riser, hopefully get a better co-witness. If it's lower third or absolute, really doesn't matter as long as I can still use the iron sights if the battery dies, because with this, not terrible battery life. It is rated for like 6 months if you do the math as far as the hours it's rated, but on a higher setting, if you're getting a fraction of that, so like we're talking if you leave it on, hopefully you get 2-3 months out of it. But for me, I've never had the battery die. It just starts to dim, and I'll switch out the battery then. It is a common battery, so it's not the end of the world, but just stuff to keep in mind. Since those two range trips, I've switched out the handguard to just a drop-in UTG, not high-end by any means. This is like a $60, $50 handguard just to mount some accessories, and the vertical grip is basically all I've added. It is still the same flashlight from before, basic Surefire G2X. not the most efficient, not the highest end. It's $80, you know, flashlight. It works. It's fine. What was I going with? Oh, with the handguard, it's not any more reliable or accurate. It doesn't really change it. It just allows me to mount some accessories to it, which I can switch out the flashlight and whatever down the line. But as it is, I have 5-hour primary arms prism scope up top, the offset mount. This is just like a concept. I really haven't gone on the range with this. But for the next time, I do plan to have this rifle go up against Ray's higher end AR, which he has like a carry handle with an ACOG, higher end parts, you know, all that good stuff. I plan to have just basic PSA build to go up against that down the line. Just going back to what I've switched around on previous terrain strips, I had this clamped on the barrel itself on a cheap Chinese mount. I've now switched that over to just have that on handguard, because my main concern was just heat transfer, like shooting 250 rounds each range trip. The barrel's, you know, obviously going to burn your hand, so it's going to heat that up, and this is like a polymer housing, so I was worried about long-term damage, but not, you know, the world, whatever. And yeah, gonna throw on the UTG riser, hopefully get a co-witness. I can upgrade parts, I can throw on bipods on the new handguard, so it's all coming together. I plan to just have some bipods there, and with a red dot, I'll go back out to re-zero it at an indoor range, and we'll be taking it back out to shoot at 100, and going to just, you know, do some more drills outside of just shooting it off a bench. But that's for a later date. Just wanted to keep you guys updated. Before I close out the video, I will be switching out the optics and just having that red dot on the UTG riser and see how it co-witnesses. But to close out, I don't think everyone needs a super high-end AR. You can buy a cheap basic one and upgrade parts as you need. You can make it more accurate, but ultimately the most important part is just have it be reliable. I've only put 1,500 rounds to this. It has been reliable. If any parts fail, I can switch out the pull carry grip, the barrel, the handguard, the gas tube, gas block. Literally any aspect of this rifle can be switched out. There are so many options as far as good aftermarket parts, or even parts from PSA, like ordering just a complete new upper from them fairly affordably. And yeah, that's why I say like the AR platform is so good, because there's endless options. But I'm gonna switch out the red dot and show you guys that before I close it out. Show you guys how it ended up. Ended up being about an absolute co-witness. Not ideal because just how small the red dot is. You're kind of like at the roof of the red dot, so not ideal, but nothing in the world. It does work. It's fine. And I'll be taking to the range, re-zero this red dot, and be going up against Ray in the near future. That is it for this video. Just some updates and previews on what is to come. Thank you guys very much for watching.